Have you ever heard of a man so addicted to cosplaying that he's just started cosplaying Ashes of War that nobody ever uses or sees be used? Using Phantom Slash in this video. So, as you can see, the Phantom that you see appearing when I use the Ash of War, it is wearing the same armor and is using the same weapon that I am using. Now, it doesn't copy like similar to Mimic Tier. What it's doing is that's just what it always looks like. So I actually made my character look like it. So technically another cosplay build. Although this is old footage, so I'm still haven't broken my rule. Still staying away from cosplays. I'm still in my cosplay detox. But this is from the good old days, back when I wasn't on the wagon. Say hello. This is my wife. Say hello.
Hi.
So this weapon, actually I'm redoing this footage. This footage is pretty old, at least a few years. I actually kind of want to remake this build. It's using the the Nightrider's Glaive. You can get it pretty early in the game. I think you can get it from one of the, what do you call them? The Nightriders, that's probably what they're called. The Night Cavalry, that's what they're called. They're the enemies that only show up on night on horseback. They wear all black. And I think you get this one from the side entrance of Raya Lucaria. It's really good. It's got insane strength scaling. It's got S strength scaling at max at plus 25. So it can hit like a truck if you boost it. You can, I think this, unfortunately I don't have the stats for this character, but if I remember from a few years ago, I think it had like 96 strength, something insane like that. And when you two-hand, it actually brings the stat up over 99. As I'm sure everyone knows, how strength works in this game as well as other games is if you two-hand, you are increasing the strength by 50%. It just increases the number. You won't see it in the menu, but let's say, for example, you have 30 strength. If you two-hand a weapon, you now have 45 strength with that weapon. And this actually goes past the 99 cap. So if you have 90 strength, half of 90 is 45, you will have 135 strength. So you can get really insane scaling from strength while two-handing.
So something to keep in mind when you are two-handing is that you cannot hold a shield. And it is annoying if you don't realize that you're two-handing or that you're not holding the shield and then you keep on clicking all the buttons like I do because I don't remember where the buttons are located. Yeah, and I died quite a few times because of that, because I would change to my secondary weapon thinking that, you know, I was trying to just take out the shield, or that I couldn't do anything because the spells weren't selected. So yeah, you kind of have to really memorize your buttons for that one.
Yeah, I have 1,700 hours in this game, and I still make that mistake. I would love to see, in the new one, them do away with two-handing as a concept. It was good in Dark Souls 1. I'm not sure it's really justifiable to have as a mechanic anymore. It would just be cool if you always had access to both spells and blocking, and you didn't have to constantly manage, like micromanage just your hand. Like, oh, what's in my left hand, what's in my right hand. It was fine in Demon Souls, it was fine in Dark Souls 1, because those were much like slower paced games. There was more of a strategy element to it. But since Dark Souls 3, they've really become fast-paced, so it's... I don't think that element, while it is unique, and maybe that's why they don't want to let go of it, I just don't think that it's necessary anymore. Just always be able to do spells, always be able to block, and, you know, Bloodborne didn't have two-handing. It had the trick weapon mechanic, and that was just better. Everybody loves Bloodborne, myself included, and I think that's partially why. The two-handing is not great. So in this clip, this is actually what makes me want to redo this build. I want to see if I can perfect this or if it was just a fluke. You'll see it right around here. there's like this tech that I did on accident that if I can like replicate this right here, you see the Phantom appeared behind him. I don't know if it was because I rolled. Like, I can't imagine it's that simple that if you just roll, the Phantom will appear behind them. If that's the case, then I really, really want to redo this, because, like, I already like this Ash of War. Not a lot of people use it, so people are actually, like, pretty surprised by it. You get them really caught off guard. But even beyond that, it's just really good. You know, it's not as good as Impaling Thrust. It's not like a super try-hard thing, but you can get really creative with it, and because it's not used very often, people don't really know how to defend against it. Ashes of War, this is something that took me a long time to understand. Ashes of War have their own scaling, and it's not communicated particularly well in the game. So, for example, Phantom Slash, I'm fairly sure, has intelligence scaling. So, if and when I redo this build, I think I'm going to make this a Cold Infusion, because the Cold Infusion on this, I think it's a B scaling instead of an S in strength, and then it also gets a C in intelligence. And if you are scaling with intelligence, Ashes of War tend to scale with just a certain stat. So the way you can find out is if you click on the Ash of War and then it asks for the infusion after, the infusion that it asks you to, that it'll like automatically be clicked on in the menu, is what that Ash of War scaling has. So for example, if you click on, and most of it tends to be Dex, if you click on Impaling Thrust, you will see that after it'll ask you what infusion you want, and it'll already be highlighted on Keen. That means that it's Dex scaling. So whatever infusion that it scales with, that's the one that it'll have stats allocated for. So if it's magic infusion, that means that it'll scale with intelligence. And I believe Phantom Slash is an intelligence Ash of War. So I would love to put Cold Infusion on this thing. And I'd also love to find out if maybe the Phantom will also do some Frost build-up as well.
You know, I know that this is a very serious topic, right? You know, a lot of, like, logistics and theories and whatever. But every time my husband says Impaling Thrust, I just smile. I know. I'm probably out of bounds right now.
Because she loves that Ash of War, and for no other reason. She loves Impaling Thrust. Yeah. What's the other one? Impaling Thrust and... what's the other one called?
I don't know the names.
Piercing Fang, that's what it's called. That's what I prefer. It's very similar, but it hits harder. I think it even does like less FP. But you can't make an innuendo out of Piercing Fang. So I don't think my wife likes that one as much as Impaling Thrust.
I mean, I always like a bite, you know?
Yeah, a bite. I don't know how to make an excuse for that one. These are innuendos, people. This is an M-rated game. If you're too young to understand this, you should be watching this video.
Exactly.
And if you are old enough to understand, like and subscribe.
Absolutely.
Like and subscribe over and over. Just make sure it's an odd number, otherwise you're just unsubscribing and subscribing over and over again. So with this Ash of War, you've seen me do it quite a few times in the video. You can actually like turn, if you got cold feet, you know, if you send the Phantom and you're like, oh, if I go over there, he's just waiting to hit me. Last second, you can lock off and then just turn back and go the opposite direction of the opponent. So you can actually also fling. You can use that technique to fling the Phantom without having yourself. You can actually fling the Phantom forward, unlock on, and go in the opposite direction yourself to get more spacing. So it's actually a good fleeing tool. You can also change targets. You've seen me do that in this video, where you start off on one target, and then if you switch to another target, you can hit that. So it's really good for, as an invader, you can engage with more than one opponent at a time. Oh, you saw in that clip, I saved that clip because it got a triple repost there, and I think that's the only time I've ever done that in the entirety of this game. Followed immediately by a double repost, which is a lot more common, obviously, but... How do you feel about this Ash of War, the Phantom Slash, baby? Does it look cool? You interested in maybe using it one day?
I don't really know. Like, it looks pretty cool, yeah, like having a whole phantom behind you and the whole, like, swift movements is kind of cool, but you know me, I only pick things because they're pretty. So, my favorite Ash of War, what's the name of it? The one that I use? The Faith one?
Oh.
That throws the thing?
I'm drawing a blank. Sacred Blade.
Sacred Blade. I love it just because it looks pretty, and I spam it and use it over and over, and I just love it. You know, it's a long range attack, which I really enjoy because I do not like getting as close to the enemy like this one requires. So I don't know. I might need a little bit more time, you know, to get more comfortable with being as close to the target, because you know I normally do like long range stuff. That's what I feel more comfortable with. I have been practicing a little bit more, you know, close range stuff, but I don't really like it yet. I don't feel confident enough for it.
Just look at that. I just love like how it slices. Yeah, I think you would be a lot more comfortable with a sorcerer, a mage, using sorceries.
Yeah,
we really got to do that for your next playthrough.
Yeah, that's what. Yeah, we discussed definitely that. You know, I picked a cleric for this one. So next playthrough, once you know, because I don't want to start it over without finalizing this first one run through, because I'm gonna feel like I don't know. I'm probably not gonna want to finish it. So yeah, we are gonna wait until we finish the current run through with the cleric, and then we're going to. Oh, teabagging!
Look, it'll be teabagging with a random.
I love it. But yeah, we're gonna finish the cleric one, and then we're gonna go into a sorcery run, and we'll see. We'll see what happens then. We have been seeing some videos on like different sorceries, or I have, you know, sorceries and incantations and things. So I'm kind of like looking at what I find pretty to put in my utility belt. You know.
Yeah, what's something that's really. I get why they do it. It does incentivize you to do new playthroughs, but the reason we can't just switch her character to a sorcerer now is her starting class that she picked is the exact opposite of what you would use to have a sorcerer. It starts out with a lot of faith and very low intelligence, so she would be drastically behind everybody else, would be a huge handicapped if she were to switch over to a sorcerer with this starting class. And unlike the stats, you can obviously go to Renala, I think her name is, with a larval tier and reallocate your stats, but you can never change your starting class. And if you don't know, that the starting class is fairly important. There's a lot of things where you will be like 10 level disadvantage depending on the starting class. Prisoner, Vagabond, and Hero I think tend to be kind of the best ones if you don't ever want to be at a severe disadvantage. And I think maybe the one that has like the all-around stats, the Depraved, is that what it's called in this game? But yeah, you definitely don't want to, if you're looking to change your stats around a lot, you're not going to want to pick something like the Prophet, because that's like you're kind of locked into just incantation builds. So yeah, we're at the end of the video now. You enjoy my screen cap of, I found one of the puppets, Sullivan's puppets, had the random glowing eye effects that they can give you where they drop more runes, but obviously you can't even kill these enemies. Alright, so say goodbye.
Bye!